And we are back to Shades of Green on KDWN 720 AM. Our guest today is Adam Grant from NV Energy, and we're talking about power shift. When we went to break, we were talking about settings in your home and what have you. What do you think is the optimum setting? And I know it's up to personal choice, but what are optimum settings, occupied and unoccupied, in your home?
So we recommend that in the summertime, set your thermostats to 78 degrees for cooling season. However, with our smart thermostat, when you're not home, you can put it on a schedule to kick that up to 85 or so, which will not do as much work for your air conditioner. And then in the wintertime, 68 is what we recommend setting the heating side on.
That's good information. A lot of people aren't really sure what temperatures, and I see people running their homes at 70 degrees in the summer. It's like,
so
why do you do that?
If you're, and this is the kind of the way I think, I feel it because I set my house about 78. And if you're coming in from 100 degrees, 78 feels really cool.
It does.
It doesn't feel like any warmth in that home. So.
Right. I think 78 is about perfect. I did my own study, and everyone's a little different, but I changed it at 1 degree every night to see where I could sleep. And at 79 degrees, it was a little warm. At 80, there was no way I couldn't sleep. But 78 was perfect.
Every degree that you change up or down could be about a 2% difference on your bill that month.
That's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal from a carbon footprint standpoint, if you want to talk carbon reduction. Changing your thermostat 2 degrees is way more important than recycling, for example. It's a much bigger slice of carbon than recycling is. So, if you're recycling, thank you very much, but go change your thermostat a couple of degrees and you'll have a much bigger impact on your carbon footprint.
Yes, and hopefully in the years to come, when our goal at NV Energy is to be 100% renewable, so that carbon reduction will be even more because there won't be any carbon that we'll be producing.
That's huge stuff. Whether
That's
you
impressive.
believe in global warming or anything else, reduce any carbon in the air. It's a good thing. It reduces pollution, so we breathe better and we become healthier, and our children will be healthier. So it's all good. So what are your biggest issues on this program?
So this program, this smart thermostat program, is the largest smart thermostat dispatchable load control program in the country. We're at over about 180 megawatts per dispatchable event. Got 100,000 plus thermostats in the market right now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's really great. It's grown exponentially since it started in the early 2000s. But the biggest issue we have is not retaining customers, because customers who are in it stay in it. But if a customer moves, the house that they leave is getting that new customer who was that premise was in the program, keeping that home in the program with the new resident of that home, getting in touch with them, because these work through Wi-Fi and over your home's internet controls and your broadband. So if that person leaves, they're not able to connect to the new broadband unless we have their credentials and this and that to be able to set the thermostat up to work with our system through their system.
Right. So when a new homeowner comes in, he gets new Wi-Fi, so they have a new password.
Right.
So in order to set that thermostat up, you need the new password. So that's good stuff. Why do you think it's the largest program in the U.S.?
Couple reasons. One is because it is a fairly mature program. We've been doing this for more than 10 years now. But also, I think customers can really see the benefit of the cooling needs in Southern Nevada. You're talking about 115 degrees potential days in July and August. The customers are very savvy to the ability, their needs that says, okay, there needs to be the ability for the utility to reduce what they have to purchase or what they have to generate in power, and they feel that they have the ability to help do that.
So culturally, I'd like to point this out, that Nevada is a very sustainable state. It's the way people think here, so it's a good thing. And with all the casinos and what have you on the Strip, they think about it a lot. You don't see a lot of advertising from it, but they're very green buildings in this state. So congratulations, everybody, for the work you're doing. So back to lights. Motion detectors and night detection sensors. Tell us about that. How does that help?
So especially for outdoor lighting, putting a dusk to dawn sensor or a motion sensor on your lights can help save, because the lights won't always be on. If someone's not walking through the purview of the lights comes on, it'll be off when it's not, or having the light on all day long when the sun sets, lights come on, it'll for two things. One is for energy efficiency, but the other is for safety. You want to be able to have that light on when someone is walking towards your property, or when the sun goes down. So having a dusk to dawn sensor or has that great opportunity for safety and savings. Indoors, putting lights on a timer. In rooms maybe that you want to make it look like someone's home when maybe you're not, but then you have to keep the lights on all the time. So putting them on a timer again can help you save when they're not needed to have that effect.
Will your energy auditor help figure that out for like timers and rooms?
They will definitely give recommendations. Yeah, if you tell them what your thought process and how you want to do your lighting, they'll definitely give you recommendations on what you can do and how you can, how you can set your home up. Another thing that is really making an impact now, and we're starting to get into a little bit, is the controlled home. So working with Alexa or working with Siri or one of the apps that you have on your phone, or even the lighting manufacturers, Philips is making their Philips Hue systems, which you can control the lights on your phone, and you can set schedules. That's really starting to make some inroads in residential lighting now.
And that's really the next level of energy management, which I think is really cool, because people like that. They like the fact that they have a little bit of control over their usage. The one thing that going back to the occupancy sensors, commonly is your walk-in closets, bathrooms, laundry rooms, where people will go in quickly, turn on the light, walk out, and then they completely forget about it. And yet then it could be on all day long. So that's the easiest place to start with as far as your occupancy.
And your kids' room.
And your kids' rooms,
Kids'
yes.
rooms, they never remember to turn off the lights.
Exactly. Totally. They should have their allowance tied to that.
They should. And I have an occupancy sensor in my closet. I have a large walk-in closet. It's got 5 can lights in it. And so it was an add-on. So the switch is in the wrong place. I was like, I have to walk all the way in the closet to turn the switch on. My electrician said, just put an occupancy sensor. So as soon as you open the door, it goes on, turns off 2 minutes later. So that's a perfect thing too.
Yep.
Great opportunity.
We were going to talk about, even though it's not air conditioning season, we want to talk about air conditioning season, because now is the time to have your air conditioning work done because it's not running. What are some of the things people could do to get ready for next year's cooling season?
Well, there's 2 things. The first thing to do is have the assessment, because our assessment assessor will come out and look at your air conditioning. Not only will he look at the system, but he'll look at how your system, what's around it, because one of the most, but an issue becomes if there's too much debris or if there's things growing around your air conditioner, it can actually cause it to work not as efficiently. So have the assessor look at that, and then you can get a tune-up, or you can look to do your duct test and seal and make sure that your system is working optimally. But then what we recommend is, and we have a program to incentivize new AC units. Anything above a 16 SEER, which is the efficiency rating of these units, we will give a significant incentive to homeowners or anyone who lives in their property to change out their unit. Kind of look at it this way. If you have let's say a 15 to 20-year-old unit, and you keep getting it tuned up, that's great. But it's kind of like having a 1972 Datsun. Are you more efficient keep getting that thing tuned up, or are you more efficient to go invest in a Prius for the next 10 years, 12 years? You're going to save much more doing it to replace your unit with a much more efficient one than the older one.
And looks like we're about ready for a break, but when we come back, I'd like to even talk a little bit more about how you can couple monies to even really carve out those costs.
Stacking rebates? Are you kidding me? Let's talk more about that.
Bundling.
Come back
It's all about
to
bundling.
80, 81, 720, and 101.5. We'll be